I have to explain a few things before we go to this section. You will see that Arjuna experiences some states of minds. He will experience 3 states of minds. One is called raga. In 3 slokas, he will have raga, which is attachment. And he will also face shoka, which is grief or sorrow. The next he will have. And the third he will have is moha, delusion. So the 3 states he will experience is ragaha, shokaha, and moga. How do you describe ragaha? Is that ragaha, I will have to explain a little bit about the mind. In English, we generically say the word mind, but in Indian philosophy, we have the concept of Antakarna. Antakarna means internal or an inside instrument. Karana is an instrument or an apparatus. So something which is inside is called as an Antakarna. And something which is outside is called as a Bahyakarana, which is our, for example, our eyes, our ears are called Bahyakaranas. So this generic term of mind, this Antakarana that we say in our philosophy, has got 4 parts. The manas, which can be loosely translated for a lack of terminology as the mind. The buddhi, which is the intellect. The ahankara, which is the ego. And chitta, which is loosely can be translated as a subconscious mind. Manas, what is it responsible for? It is a gateway to the senses. So whatever the impulses are coming from outside, the manas is taking it as inputs. So that is the main function of the manas. And whatever the output is also going through the manas. Okay, so it is a doorway for our senses. That is our first important aspect of the manas. The second aspect of the manas is always in a state of flux. It is always turbulent. It is never stable. So this is the quality of the manas. Next is we go to the buddhi, which is the intellect. So what is this intellect? It is a decision-making mechanism. So buddhi can differentiate. In normal terms, it should be able to differentiate right from wrong, and it should be able to differentiate truth from untruth and so on. So if it is not clouded, a good buddhi should be able to have good discriminatory powers. But something also comes into effect, which is known as the ahankara. The ahankara we call the ego. But what is this ego? It is a misconstrued identification. That is, if you say that I am an Indian, I am an engineer, I am a manager. All these identifications which we have, which is limited identifications that we have, is called the ego. So that is called the ahankara. And the 4th step is known as the chitta. So chitta is loosely translated as a subconscious mind. So what happens is chitta is responsible for storing the impressions or the memories. So whatever we are receiving from outside, we are storing it in the chitta. So the chitta makes impressions called samaskaras. And the development of these samaskaras, the samaskara build-up of these samaskara is called the vasanas or the inherent tendencies. So we have certain tendencies. Chitta is such an important part. The part of the chitta, it goes to the next lifetime. So whatever impression you have made in the previous lifetime is going to go with you in the next lifetime. And it is going to be the vasanas. Why are we drawn to certain things? We are not drawn to certain things, right? We always have tendencies. Where does that come from? This is coming from our chitta, from our previous stored memories. So from lot of lifetimes we carry this. We didn't develop it in this lifetime. So that is why we have to understand the working of the mind. So we are able to analyze and isolate. Where is this thought coming from? We can introspect. Okay, where does this thought come from? So to make it worse, what happens is this raga that I said, which is the attachment. So where does this come from? Raga is coming from ahankara. Raga, dvesha, there are 2 things which our philosophy says is the cause for all sorrow. It is the main cause of sorrow. What is raga? Raga is something similar to saying I like. Dvesha is I don't like. In simple terminology, raga and dvesha are 2. One is not very good from the other. If you have dvesha, it is not very good from raga. So both are the causes for different emotions that we face. But how is this raga created? Raga is you see something, you like it, okay, and the ahankara, the ego, which is I, the sense of I, it bonds with that and it says I love, and it imprints it in the chitta. So I love, I don't like. So when you say something, I like white, I don't like white. I like black, I don't like black. I like this, I like her, I don't like her. So this kind of thing is actually coming from the ahankara. And then it is later stored in the chitta. Raga actually develops due to two things. It develops by sambandha and sankalpa. So what is sambandham? It's by association. Suppose I see somebody, first day I see, I'm not going to develop any kind of attachment for that person. Constantly, if I keep interacting with that person, then my association develops with that person. That is sambandha. And the sambandha leads to the attachment, raga. And also it is developed also by sankalpa. Somebody is not there, daughter is in US. You keep remembering. So sankalpa is basically intention formed by the mind or the heart. So you keep remembering. So the attachment is formed. The sambandha and sankalpa, the association and the remembering, it leads to the raga. Now the raga is so dangerous. Okay, if it just was raga and dvesha, it just stayed as attachment, it is okay. But this raga is the root cause of all other bad emotions that we face. So I said immediately after raga, what follows usually is shoka. Shoka is what? Is sorrow or grief. Now how is that formed? If you are attached to something or someone, you may get angry, you may get fearful, you may also fear the loss of that person. We will see with an example. Moha is basically delusion. So your buddhi has to get the correct input to make the right decision. So I will just give you a very simple example. There is a bowl of gulab jamun, and how do you make the decision to eat it or not to eat it? So this is what happens. The manas is taking the input. It sees the gulab jamun. It smells the gulab jamun. In the chitta, what is stored? Maybe last month or 2 months back, you saw a gulab jamun and you said this is nice. You just said it is nice. But the ahankara, it came and said, who is the one who is eating the gulab jamun? It is me. So you should say, I like. So it dictates saying, I like this gulab jamun. I love it. This is what you have said to yourself. Then because the impression was so deep, it was stored in your chitta. So when you saw this gulab jamun, the previous impression was retrieved from the chitta and then it was produced to the buddhi. By the time what? The buddhi actually, it can make a correct decision. But if it was hijacked by this sense that I love this gulab jamun, come on, I love this gulab jamun, even though you have had 2 sweets just 15 minutes before, the buddhi is going to say, come on, eat it. You love the gulab jamun, eat it, come on. But if your buddhi, it overruled and said, no, my stomach is full at this moment, this is not the right thing to do, you can overrule with the buddhi. But mostly our decisions get hijacked by the ahankara and by our chittas, the samskaras, it is stored there, so it gets hijacked. So the buddhi, which has actually the power to make the right decisions, is not able to make the right decisions. So what do you say? I love this gulab jamun, now go for it. So your hand reaches to the bowl. So this is in simple terms, this is what is happening. So what this Gita is about is not just reading the slokas and knowing the meanings, but introspection. So at every stage you will go and see, okay, what is happening? So if you want to introspect, you can do it with 2 things, with speech and with your action. So go, if you see, what am I talking about? Why is this coming and where is this coming from? And what do I do and where is this coming from? So if you are able to introspect, so this is what we are going to introspect with Arjuna. How did it come? All these states of mind, we said, he went through raga, he went through shoka, he went through moha. How did he get to all this? You will see in this slokas. So that is why we have to discuss this before we go into the slokas. For now, why he is experiencing this is because of all the faculties of the mind that are operating. And what sadhanas we do, like every day, why do we chant, why do we pray, is to isolate all these components. So some things affect the chitta. If you do like auto suggestion, for example, we do that in the form of regular chanting, it goes and imprints in the chitta. So your chitta gets cleared. So that is the reason why you are doing all these practices every day, so that you are able to get a clear sense of buddhi and not have the clouded buddhi, and to make the right decisions.